even in the movie, and she'll tell me this, she'll go, I died in the movie. Like, my mother, about my father, is dead, right? And she, I think, had a little issue with that.
Your parents, how would they handle constructive criticism?
How do they?
Yeah. Or like as it pertains to giving it to you.
Oh, giving it to you. You know, they've always been very honest. They've always been very upfront. The messaging sometimes is not wrapped really well.
So I've heard.
Yeah, you know, my dad in particular, even my mother, you know, they're very like honest, and
how so?
You know, I think we hit like a ceiling on the constructive criticism maybe about 8 to 9 years ago. I kind of had my talk with my father saying, hey, can't you just enjoy it rather than like after the show, you know, critique it or say this is not funny, I don't like this or I don't like that. You know, I do respect his opinion. It's just in the past it's been delivered with some. There's not a lot of sugar on it. You know, we've had an ongoing disagreement of how I do the set.
How so?
He believes I should do the set exactly the same, word for word, every night. Every night's the same thing. And he doesn't like when I kind of like switch up maybe the order, or maybe I lose a joke because I'm not feeling it in the moment.
Because otherwise you're just going
like,
up there
it's a robot.
and
It's like
reciting.
and it becomes not authentic. It becomes very formulaic, and I like to like switch it around a lot. But and that being said, you know, my parents have kept me very humbled in the sense that, you know, they do tell me how they feel, and I think now it's gotten to a point where my father in particular has just, if he doesn't like it, if he doesn't like what he saw, he don't say nothing. That's a whole other thing. It's like the silence is almost worse than if you just told me what you didn't like, you know? And then like the first show, I think at Madison Square Garden, he didn't say anything. So I go back going, nah, he didn't like it. Second show, he said, oh, good, but great job. So I go, okay, yeah, it's obvious that you didn't like the first set, you liked the second set. So, but it's all good. It's a learning experience for me as a son, and then taking that experience and using some of that with my own kids, I think is a bonus. I don't want to be soft with my kids at all. I'm very direct with them as well, but I also am conscious of the messaging and how I'm delivering it to them. And you know, I think that's what we do as kids. You look at how you were raised, and you look at some of those things and go, oh, I really like how my parents did that. I'm going to take some of that, sprinkle it in here, put my own twist on it, and make it my own. But yeah, it's not. I think it's just. I'd say we just lose the word constructive, and it's just criticism. And the criticism is heard, and it is often met with just, you know, silence from me.
In what ways were they hard on you growing up?
They always pushed me like you could do better. They were worried about me because I didn't really have a direction or path. The saying in this house growing up was, you got any hobbies? What do you like to do? And I didn't. I just, I played sports here and there. I was a soccer player, but I didn't I wasn't building ships in my basement, or I wasn't into crafts, or what was that game growing up? Dungeons and Dragons. I wasn't into any of that stuff.
You were aware that they were worried about you, like that was
I was aware.
evident.
I was worried.
Oh, come on, really?
Well, I was worried because they were worried.
Okay.
You know? And I'm like, I'd say that, I go, yeah, how come I don't have any hobbies ever? Where am I going? The one thing they did is instill like a work ethic into me that was, thank God they did, because since 14 I've been working any odd jobs just to make it. I had a lawn cutting business in this neighborhood, and I was allergic to grass and ragweed. I was cutting the lawn with masks. I had a mask on. I was wearing a mask before COVID was even a thing. So my dad often tells me now, what are you, nuts, working this much? I go, well, this is, you created this. You know, you constantly told me.
The disease, right?
It's a disease. And I apparently got it bad because, you know, I don't know. I've always worked, always.
What do you think you learned from your mom?
So my mom, you know, often is not mentioned in my act. She's very...
But that's something that you've often thought about too, like how to incorporate her, because you're super close to her as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no closer to my father than I am my mother. I'm equally as close to both of them. I just felt like, particularly in my stand-up, my father is just a bigger personality, and he's an immigrant, and you know, some of that immigrant upbringing is more humorous than my mother's way of looking at the world. But yeah, my mom is just, you know, everybody loves my mother. Sweet, nice woman. Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know why I have left her out of any, you know, even in the movie. And she'll tell me this. She'll go, I died in the movie. Like, my mother, about my father, is dead, right? And she, I think, had a little issue with that even because it's a movie, she's passed away. She has told me, though, you know, why am I not more of a part of, like, kind of what you do? I go, yeah, it's just part of, like, my comedy. That's just, it's like a movie. It's like when you write a movie. It's part of my stand-up world. And the relationship I have with my mother is very unique in the sense that, you know, she's the one that I actually try out material on. She's the one that I tell these stories to. She's the one that's listening and laughing, and I know kind of the beats when I tell my mother that this is going to end up on stage. So she's utilized in a way, and I'm talking professionally, not personally, for me, of like, I always love making my mother laugh, regardless. If I wasn't doing stand-up comedy, I would be making my mother laugh, because the way she laughs is just, it's one of those laughs where you're like, oh God, it feels so good to hear. But yeah, she's a huge part of my life, and she's not so much just in my stand-up.
Any similarities between your wife and your mom?
The fact that, you know, they're very sweet. They have a kind of a sense of style with clothing, but they're completely polar opposites when it comes to, my mom is very scared, and my wife is very, has no fear. So my wife is the type that she'll do and try anything, and my mother was a type that's just like doesn't try a lot. I think now that she's almost 80, is trying more things now than she ever had in the past.
That's cool.
Just because, yeah, she's kind of living life more, I think, now than she ever has.